Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Andrew. I'm the owner of Holy Ground Sneaker Shop, and today we're gonna go over some tips and tricks on how to price your sneakers. This is not for a store, even though I am a store owner. Before all this, I was an individual reseller and worked my way up to having a store. And so I kind of want to share with you guys some of the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, and hopefully it's going to be beneficial to you. And if this is helpful, please make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. We're going to go ahead and do a couple more educational content and also our normal day in the life videos. So if you guys like all that, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Comment down below if you guys have any questions, but let's go ahead, get straight into it. All right guys, so the first thing we're gonna talk about is just how to price your brand new sneakers. So hopefully you guys got lucky. Maybe you hit retail at a Foot Locker or something. These recently just came out. These are the Jordan 11 Cherries. And so this is more of your standard shoe that you might be able to get. It's not overly hyped. It is a new release, so maybe you guys could sell it for a good price. So the number one thing that mostly almost every sneakerhead or sneaker reseller looks at is gonna be the apps, which are StockX and GOAT. So those two are gonna be your best friend in trying to figure out how to price brand new shoes. Brand new shoes, all right? So don't really use them for pre-owned shoes. You can use them to gauge, but we're talking about brand new right now. So brand new right now, this is a size 8.5 Cherry 11. 8.5 right now is going for around $271 on StockX. That's the lowest ask button. And that just pretty much means, hey, this is the cheapest that someone has it listed for on this app. And they also have a highest bid option, which is the most someone's willing to pay right now. So you can quick sell it and that'll kind of be what you get. So $271, after sales tax and everything, the shoe pretty much comes out to $250, so it's not really going over market. Might be a tough one to sell. Now, if we switch over to GOAT, you're gonna see over here that an 8.5 is going for $290. Now, because you're not a shopping mall or you're not a sneaker store, it's gonna be kind of hard to get anything above that range. So if you're just kind of your local reseller, I would say, you know, try your luck, put it right there at that price, and see where that takes you, because you might be able to get that sale. That's kind of like just general pricing. I think if you go to any sneaker event, some people might have it priced up a little bit because people are negotiating. But for the most part, I would say the standard pricing for brand new shoes is a range. So like I said, StockX has these for $270. GOAT has them for $290. So right in between, you could price them for $280. If you want to be on the high end, put $290. Doesn't really matter. It's a $5–10 difference. But you know, if you price it over, people might just think that you're kind of overcharging and they might not want to deal with you. So I would say like right here, $280 is a good solid like street reseller price. All right, so now that we're moving on to pre-owned shoes, we're gonna go ahead and talk about two different types of pre-owned shoes. You have one that are gonna be a little bit older. So this is a Nike SB Atomic Red. Sorry if I'm looking down at my phone, but almost every reseller, whenever you guys do deals, is just always like this, right? So let's first look at StockX. We'll see where this takes us. So I'm gonna type in Atomic Red SB, it pops up. This is, for example, a size 9. Now this one doesn't even have a bid or a lowest ask. It's just blank right now. It says last sale 133, but also the highest bid right now, someone that's willing to buy a brand new pair would be 335. So it's kind of a very interesting way to price a used shoe. So the best way for us is to use the app eBay. So eBay is going to be your best friend for used pairs. You could even use them for brand new pairs, but the reason why I don't like using GOAT, you know, GOAT's a great app. I have nothing against it. I just don't like using it for pre-owned shoes because you never know what the pre-owned shoes sell for. Now I could list this up on GOAT for $1,000 and it'll sit there forever and people will be like, well, it's $1,000 on GOAT. So, you know, I gotta sell it for around that price, but it's not very true. So now as you guys see, I'm turning on a couple filters. So I know this one's pre-owned, so I turn on the pre-owned filter. Now, if you go to the side and go to show more and go all the way down, there's gonna be a toggle for sold items. So sold items means it's gonna show up all the listings that aren't listed for sale anymore because they already sold on that app. If you wanna be a little bit more specific, you could put in the shoe size. Sometimes I like to go in between, I'll pick 3. So this is a 9, so I'll do 9, 9.5. There's no 8.5 on here, so I'll do 9.5 and 9. So I'll kind of look around, see what some of these are selling for. And as I look, there's one right here that says 300 it was slashed through. So with eBay, if it's slashed through, it'll mean that someone took an offer, they took a bid. So somebody could offer them 50 bucks, and if they took it, it would just say 300 with the price slashed through it. I really want to price an item like this that might be a little bit harder to find, so it might be cool for somebody, but because it's hard to find, it also might mean there's less customers looking for it. With that in mind, we actually have the shoe listed at 200. They had it priced at 3 or 270. Maybe they took a deal for around 220, 240. So I think 200 might be a good price to list this at. So that's kind of how we gauge pre-owned pairs that might be a little bit harder to find. Let's go ahead and get into a pre-owned shoe that might be a little bit more recent. Now we have something that is a little bit more common, maybe the shoe that almost every store sells, but we do have the Panda right here. This is a more recent shoe. It's a more popular shoe. It's one that's gonna sell way faster than those Atomic Reds we just talked about. Something like this right now, as we show you guys on StockX, this is a size 10 men's. Brand new is going for around 185, and usually most people can get around that price for a brand new pair. Now for a pre-owned pair, we can kind of use StockX a little bit to gauge, but we can pull it up on eBay too, doing the same thing. As you guys see, I'm trying to turn on the sold listings items. I'm trying to do the condition as pre-owned, and then we can also still select the same size as a 10. Looks like there's a lot of used size 10s that sold, but even here we see 149. Someone took an offer at 140. Someone took an offer at 176. Someone sold one for 200 somehow. I don't know. That's kind of almost as a brand new price. And also that's a good sign when you see a lot of used pairs selling, meaning that this is a shoe that a lot of people are gonna want, versus the Atomic Reds, we only saw maybe 2 or 3 pairs that actually sold. And so that means like it might be a slower selling shoe for you. So for this one, a lot of pairs selling for anywhere from like 120 to like 160. So we actually went ahead and priced this at 140. Now, my thought process behind this is because I don't want to price this at like 180 because someone could just spend $15, $20 more and buy a brand new pair versus, you know, getting it like this. Maybe saving $40 from that price is going to be a good price for someone, as long as this shoe is still clean and in good condition. That's why we price it at 140. This pair actually sold for us already. We just pulled it out from the back. But I would say for you guys as resellers, if you guys could get some good moving shoes like this, when you check eBay, you'll see that there's just so many sold listings, and over and over again, you'll see them priced anywhere from like 130 to 160. So trying to find that sweet spot for your customers always helps. And that's why I said I like using eBay, because this shows you what it sold for. And I feel like that's the most accurate measure in order to see what to price your shoe. So hopefully you guys understand that concept, but that's pretty much how we go about pricing our pre-owned, like whether if it's a newer one or a more later release type of shoe. So hopefully that kind of brings a little bit of light to the situation. We kind of did go over 2 of the pre-owned and brand new shoes, but one thing I did want to mention is it does matter if it does have the original box, if the original box is badly damaged, if it has no box. Some people might think even having a replacement box might help a little bit in the value. All of that does get taken into consideration. It's always helpful to have the box in good condition, but if not, hopefully that just means that you're going to price it a little bit cheaper than all the other pairs that are sold with boxes. The other thing I want to talk about is now when you have really high-end expensive pairs and the market fluctuates a lot. So that kind of really matters. So right here we do have a pair of the Jordan 1 reverse shatter backboards, or the shatter backboard 2.0. So if we look that up, you'll see that this shoe has a really big range. So this is the size 11. So right now this is listed at $1,050. The last sale on the app, as you see on the bottom left, is gonna say $998 with the highest bid of $667. And once again, my whole philosophy is you wanna price it at what people are buying it for, not what you hope that one person will miraculously wanna spend that price on. Right now, you could also use the app like StockX to see different sales. Also know that StockX pulls sales not just from their app, they pull it from different marketplaces. So that's why you might see random numbers really spiking up and spiking down, but always try and get the average price out. So like this one, last sale $998, $950, $750, $890, $900, $850. The only ones you really see going for over $1,000 are gonna be one for $1,140 and another one at $1,100. So it does sell for over $1,000, but I think for someone who might not have a storefront, might be a little bit harder for you to move a pair like this. So you might not want to actually price it at that lowest ask button. That's where it kind of gets a little tricky sometimes, where, you know, the cherries are a new release. There's so much data to show what just sold in the last day, versus a shoe like this probably has a sale every maybe month or so, and the prices can go up and down. So I would say this is a shoe you might want to be careful with. You could price it at $1,000, you could price it at the green button, or you could also price it lower. There's not really 100% accurate way to say this is the market on this shoe. You just want to list stuff to sell. That's the biggest thing. You guys are trying to sell. So this one, maybe I might suggest someone's pricing it maybe at $1,000 or anywhere from $850 to $1,000, depending on what you paid for it and all that kind of good stuff. So that's what it is for brand new shoes. At least it's a little bit easier to gauge. Now, something that happens a lot is we have a pair of Kobes, and a lot of times people will see lowest ask super high on a brand new shoe. So this is the Kobe What Does, the high top, the 10s. If we look up on StockX right now, a size 8.5 is going for $400 brand new. If you guys look at the other sizes, you'll see that it kind of randomly jumps up to like a size 9 at $1,700 or a 10.5 at $600, but an 11's at $450. So there's kind of a big range in the sizes, but it doesn't always mean that it sells at that price. So someone might come in and be like, okay, cool, I see lowest ask is at 400. So this pre-owned pair, I should be able to sell it for 300. Now let's go over to eBay and see what people are actually paying for a pre-owned pair. So let's do Kobe 10 What The, and we're gonna follow the same exact format that we've been doing. So we're gonna go ahead, scroll down, click the sold items filter. Condition is pre-owned. Also note this one doesn't have a box. And then the size is 8.5. I see an 8, a 9, and 8.5. There's not a lot of sales either. But as you guys see, well, the first one sold not too long ago, not too bad. $279 with $30 shipping. So somebody paid around $300 for a pre-owned shoe, which, hey, if you have that market and someone bites on it, great. Now, if you look at the pair right next to it, the same one sold for $175. So it's almost $100 difference. If you kind of keep going down, you see one sold for $60. You see one with the box selling for $225. So you see another one for $125, $150, $130, and the last one at $160. So majority of them are probably under that $200 price range, with the exception of one selling for $280, which is kind of crazy high. I would say it'd be kind of hard to really say this shoe is worth $300. For me, when I see this and I check eBay, I see so many sold listings at around that $170 to $200 price range with the box. So without the box, hey, I'm even thinking about $160, which I think that's even what we price it at. We have it priced at $160. So, and it's been here for a few days. Even priced at $160, it's not like flying off the shelf for us. So I hope that kind of also helps insight. Like, just because you have it at a really good price doesn't mean it's gonna sell right away. So everyone's looking for certain shoes, but you always wanna have them priced at the good price. And that's why sometimes looking at StockX is helpful, but it's not the final answer. Do your research. When in doubt, just look it up on eBay with the sold listings. That's just the hard proof of what things have sold for. So hopefully pricing your shoes out, this kind of covers it. If you guys have any more questions with at least pricing it, hit the comments down below, let us know your questions and we'll try and respond to you. But now let's go ahead and move on to how to maybe sell them, maybe a little tips and tricks on how to sell depending on the market and how it goes. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. All right, so now that we went through how to price your shoes, now let's talk about some tips and tricks on how to sell your shoes, or maybe like the price range of where to buy them at, because that does help a lot. So as a new reseller, you're gonna want to kind of have some room to negotiate, because a lot of people in the sneaker world love to do negotiations. Not everyone's a consumer. You might have some resellers who might wanna buy from you. They need to make their margins. So, you know, until you really build that platform really, really high, you're gonna have to, you know, sacrifice a few dollars here and there, but hopefully at the price points you're buying them at, you're gonna be able to make those sacrifices. So we talked about the Jordan 11 Cherries. This is a shoe I probably wouldn't really wanna buy from other resellers, just because one, the retail was about $250 after sales tax. So if you're trying to buy that shoe after, you're probably gonna be paying $260, $270, and then you're gonna have no room for margin to make any profit or even have room to negotiate with other people. So for example, this just came out. Maybe you hit for retail, maybe you're using credit cards to get them. That's honestly might be one of the safer ways to resell shoes, is going through the brand new only hitting for retail, because worst case scenario, if you can't sell it, you can always return it. Someone also might just buy it for retail. Now, just be careful. No, it's a shoe that is generally a good shoe. You have to do your research, maybe follow a couple pages to know what is good in the sneaker market. So a shoe like this might not be the best choice for you to start off with, but hey, if you got it, you could test the waters. You have 30 days, maybe some stores are 15 days. And if you can't sell it, return it, get your money back, and just call it a day. At least you tried, you had it on your page for a little bit, looks pretty. For beginner resellers, I would say stay away from high-end pairs like this. It's not gonna be your bread and butter. A lot of your money gets tied into the shoe, because even if you got it for a good price, say you got this, you know, you're gonna price it around $900, which solid price, and hopefully you got a good deal. Say you paid $600, you can't even quick sell this on StockX and you'd probably get your money back or something like that. So I would say high-end pairs are harder, because one, is harder to find someone who's gonna fork over that money, especially because you're a newer reseller. They also might think you're trying to sell fakes if you have them for a good price. So that's always something else you have to think about. Like, you have to think in the mind of your consumer. With this shoe in particular, for some of you newer guys, just stay away from them. I would say it's not going to be your best friend. And with the amount of money that you pour into this, say you paid $500, $600 for it, you could buy 2 or 3 used pairs and make all of those flips a lot faster and make your profit a lot faster. So that's why I would say stay away from this kind of a shoe. Now, a shoe that might be very good for you to buy. If you could buy this brand new for retail, you can sell this all day long, make some good money. You can sell this to stores, you can sell this to resellers, and they'll pay a good penny for it, and also your general customers. And it is not gonna cost you a lot of money to buy, because if you get it for retail, you're paying around $110, $120 now, because they kind of up the retail price. But, you know, and you can make a quick $30, $40 flip over and over and over again. Now, that just means you got to put in the work to find out where they release, when to release, like go enter the raffles, do all that kind of good stuff. But this could also be a shoe that you might be able to buy off someone pre-owned. If you could find it for a brand new price and pay a little bit of resale, you might still be able to even flip it for that. So right now, some of the bigger sizes are going for around 200 on the app. Maybe you can talk to somebody, get it down for 160 because they got it for retail and they're willing to make a little bit, maybe not do so much. Try and sell it for 2. If not, you have a little bit of wiggle room to sell it for like 160, 180. Even this pair, it's at 140. This could be a pair that you sell, that you try and buy for $100. You know, sometimes finding these prices can be hard, but that's part of the game. It's not always easy money. So if you can get this for 100, list it for 140, 150, someone might take it at that price. But also if it sits for a little bit and someone offers you 130, 120, hey, you made a quick 20 bucks, you didn't really have to do much, and it's probably gonna sell fast for you. So it all depends on the margins that you want to make on these shoes. Kind of going back, this is kind of an interesting thing. I would say some older pairs like this, it might not be the best, but also if you want to have a little diversity in your profile, this like older SBs and stuff, they do have a good market for them. But I would say this is something that you're probably not going to sell like on the streets, if that makes sense. This might be something more you're going to sell on an eBay platform, on a GOAT platform. So you still have to consider the fees when you're buying a shoe like this. So like I said, this one we priced at 200. I wouldn't pay up on the shoe like this. You shouldn't pay 160 to try and make 40 bucks off of this, because the margins that you're gonna have and the people who are gonna try and negotiate or selling on the apps, you're gonna have fees and stuff like that. It's just a little bit harder if you do find yourself buying used shoes and you could only find more like random older pairs. Just try and pay lower on them, so that way you have a lot more wiggle room when you do try and sell it to somebody. Because I can have it for 200, another sneaker reseller who thinks that they know, they might be like, yo, like 140. And it kind of sounds like a low ball, 200 to 140. Dang, but if I got these for 100 bucks, I'll be like, sure, dude, take them. Or even renegotiate and be like 150, 160. Maybe they'll take them. I made 40, 50 bucks. That guy probably is gonna try and sell them. Maybe he has the market for older SBs, who knows? So you always kind of wanna have a lot more of a wiggle room for those pre-owned rare shoes. Having all of these shoes right here, hopefully that kind of helps understand like the differences in the markets and where you should be buying them from, or at least what kind of price points you should have, because as a reseller, you need to have wiggle room to negotiate with people, because if you're always hard on price, it might be hard for you to always make those sales. A lot of people, it's just even psychology, they just want to feel like they're getting a good deal, then they'll buy from you. And so if you're not able to wiggle room at all, they might not ever even want to do business with you in the future. So it's a win and lose kind of game, but you always want to win a little bit more than you lose, obviously. So hopefully these lessons kind of helped a little bit. If you guys have more questions, comments, concerns about all this stuff, leave a comment down below. Let us know what other kind of educational sneaker videos we should do for you guys, and we'll definitely try and do that for you. So with all that being said, stay holy, stay blessed, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.